Hi, welcome to Landscape of Mothers. I'm Jill Clifton. I had a friend ask me recently about anxiety, especially as it relates to like the safety and well-being of our children. And like, how do we deal with anxiety? And I thought it was a really good question because I think that when we don't let ourselves acknowledge that it's anxiety and that we're worried about our kids, we might tend to revert back to the old ways that our parents may have used to keep us safe. And for some of us, that's not ideal, right? So that would be either being really rigid and very like rule oriented and punishment oriented when we broke the rules. Instead, I think it behooves us, or maybe not instead, it's more that we need to do both, right? So one thing we need to do for sure is to be clear about what the risks are, what we can do to mediate them. And we have to be realistic with ourselves about how much control we have over that stuff and where the balances are between basically like wrapping our kids in bubble wrap and keeping them at home versus like letting them go out into the world, right? Like they're certainly safe if we wrap them in bubble wrap and keep them at home, but they're also not doing things that human beings need to do, which is make friends, explore, take risks, climb trees, whatever those things are, right? So there's some kind of balancing. And when we carry a lot of anxiety, which I definitely did when my kids were small, I remember a time and where I had to face my own anxiety. And then the solution for me in that moment was not necessarily about preparation because the situation at hand was something I couldn't control, but it was more about resting into myself. Who am I and how do I deal with difficult moments in life? So kind of like being able to settle into myself and being like, oh, whatever happens that's difficult, whatever hard conversations I might have to have, whatever grieving I might have to do, or whatever disappointment I might feel, I'm okay and I have the tools and capacity to get through it. So I think part of managing our anxiety, because anxiety tends to be something that's like forward spinning, it's worrying about things that haven't happened yet. It's also often like it comes up when there's like a lack of control, right? And so this is the perfect place to kind of consider, what do I need to do to prepare for this event or this thing or this unknown? And then also, where do I need to rest into myself and know that I can handle whatever is delivered by the unknown, right? Like what? And if I feel like I run into a place in my body where I can't handle something difficult, then what do I need in order to fortify that part? Or what do I need to do in order to take care of that part? And so in some ways, this is very akin to like parts work in therapy. And so that's a place that can be helpful if you're running into a part of yourself that feels like, oh, that's a place I won't be able to deal with it if that thing happens. Or I won't know what to do, or I can't really have those hard conversations with people, or you know that you tend to have poor boundaries around certain topics, right? So that's the place where you want to start working on it, and that acknowledgement of the anxiety, what the anxiety is about, and then what those parts that have anxiety need can be helpful, right? So therapy is a place to do it. I think Landscape of Mothers holds it nicely. There's different sections depending on, working with Desert Mother if boundaries is the issue, working with Ocean Mother to fortify spirituality if that's something that helps us to have sort of a bigger container and a bigger meaning, to fortify Forest Mother so that connection and knowing that you have relationships with folks often will, other folks hold our kids, and so having good relationships with them, whatever it is that needs, if you don't know what it is, Landscape of Mothers is probably a great place to start, because you can be like, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? when you find your place, there's certainly a million more resources to all of those things when you figure out where that like slice is that you want to work on in the moment. So best wishes, because if you're watching this, I'm assuming that you're grappling with some anxiety, and I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that you can do this. You can do anything that comes up that's difficult, and you might need some fortification to do it. And it might require stepping in with Wind Mother and letting go of some of the old mechanisms that came from your parents too, right? So it's a journey. It's not something we do overnight. So be gentle with yourself, take your time, pick it up in small pieces, and good for you for going after it. Thank you.